Perfect. We are back with section 4, facial treatments. 25% of the exam, so just like infection control is a big section, and 19 questions of your exam are going to come from here. So the topics that we're going to cover are basic facial treatments, which include cleansing, extraction, exfoliation, mask, and moisturizers. Every last one of these things you have already done. You know why we do all of them, and you know what type of products we use for all of them. In this section, they're specifically going to ask you information about the different category of cleansing method, cleansing product, extraction product, exfoliation products. So acids versus enzymes versus manual exfoliants versus chemical exfoliants. Masks, there are different types of masks, clay, colloidal, gel. They're going to ask paraffin. So you're going to want to know those. And then moisturizers, the types of moisturizers that gets. And then from there, you have facial massage, which is the facial massage chapter. And then we have skincare products, and that is going to be, that's product, but they're also saying the treatment itself. So skincare products, a brush is not necessarily a product. I think of it more of an implement, but they're going to ask you specifically about the brushes, like the rotary brush, the galvanic, the high frequency, the use of steam, the use of the vacuum suction, and the use of the Woods lamp. Again, every one of you have done these chapters so far. I believe every one of you should have completed those chapters. We have chapter 8, facial treatments. We have chapter 9, massage. And then we have chapter 10, facial devices and technology. So let's open massage. Okay, so we've got the 3 chapters that this is coming from. Some basic questions from each of those chapters that we have posed. For basic facial treatments, we've composed things like, what are the 6 benefits of facial treatments? What treatments benefit mature skin? What ingredients are recommended to treat acne? What are extractions? Like, what's the process of extraction and what are you actually doing? What mask is used on dry skin clients? So what type of mask? So remember, I told you there were different types. You're going to familiarize yourself with each of those types. Why should you avoid heat with sensitive skin? And what are contraindications to facial treatments? So let's do the facial treatments chapter first. So we are going to go to chapter 8. And we've got it pulled up. So they're right off the bat, importance of a facial, you're going to want to know that. Benefits of a facial treatment. So a facial, as defined, is a professional service designed to improve the appearance of the facial skin. This typically includes deep cleansing, such as extractions, hydration, massage, mask application, or mild peels, possible use of skin treatment machines, and finally, the application of serum, moisturizer, and sunscreen. The facial should be customized for each individual person. So we have here the key elements of the facial listed out. List the essential skills needed to successfully perform a facial. That's not going to be something that's on your test. Let's keep going. Perform the facial setup procedure. Not going to be on the test per se. Know it, but it's not something that they're going to really test you on. Now, what they will test you on is the key steps of the basic facial treatment. So let's go to that. So they have the key steps to a basic facial treatment, including a time frame for each of those services and treatments. They are not going to ask you questions on time. I've never seen them ask questions on time, not even in any study guide that not even questions that, not even like study guides that I've used in the past where they mentioned time, but they did want you to know each of these steps and, and the time and the process of each of those steps. More on intake, proper draping. They will ask you about the treatment plan, which is important because it's just a process of, setting up the expectations with your client. And then you have no, we don't want to. There it is. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see it. the process of cleansing, the process of using toners, the steps and the type of cleansers that you can use. You see how they have this little section here? So what I'm going to do, because I want to put this in our study guide, I would screenshot this and I would make sure that I was comfortable with each of those mask types. You see all 5 of them? I had a student who was asked about mud versus clay mask, the components of an alginate mask, sheet mask material. That's the kind of information they're pulling from this chapter. So then again, exfoliation product or mask products, skin analysis checklist, look, touch, ask, listen, de-encrustation. So they're talking about extraction, but you saw how they said extraction as a procedure, but they also said extraction as a, what's another one? From if you were to use vacuum or galvanic. So we know vacuum and galvanic can be used in place of the extraction, but you also want to understand the procedure of extraction itself and then products and implements and tools that would go along with that. So I know in the state board, they're going to ask you about de-encrustation. They're going to ask you about iontophoresis. They're going to ask you about the galvanic process. So you're going to want to make sure that you're comfortable with those. They're going to ask you about the steam towels, warm towels. All this information, you're going to want to know it. They're going to ask you about SPF, moisturizers, and the different types of moisturizer and what moisturizers do. The trick about this exam is to understand the thing that they're talking about. So instead of trying to prepare yourself to know what questions they're going to ask, prepare yourself to understand the information so that you can deduce the correct answer. I don't think variations of a facial is there. Let's see. No variations of the facial. Transepidermal water loss is a good one that I would note down. The skin types. So outline the treatment goals for 6 skin types and conditions. You've already studied skin types. Remember, it's right here because we understood skin analysis. And then again, we did skin analysis chapter for skincare. Skin types, you've already got a good foundation. Now it's asking you to further understand the goals of the skin type. So here's the goals for dry skin, dehydrated skin, mature skin, pollution, poor diet, hormone stress, how all of those things impact the skin, skin treatments for mature skin, sensitive skin or sensitized skin, rosacea, hyperpigmentation. Remember, we talked about that in the last one. So each chapter builds upon itself, but essentially going into each chapter and taking the key information. Oh, here's the mask. I talked about the different masks. We did that screenshot. Now here we go where it's saying and exfoliate and explaining the different mask types. So you want to know those. Extraction techniques, you're going to want to know those. And then that's just a step-by-step. Men's treatments. So it's very little information about men's treatments in the textbook. I would absolutely master that, because anything they ask you on a men's skincare side is going to come from these few pages. There's not much to it. That's an easy win. There are some conditions listed here, folliculitis and pseudofolliculitis. Remember, those should have been listed when you went down and did your disorders and your diseases. If you come across a disorder and a disease in one chapter and it's not in your disorders and diseases chapter, I would add it to those notes. Again, this is something you want to know as an esthetician anyway. And then these are all procedures, so we don't need to look at those. Facial massages, you want to be comfortable with the contraindications, the different movements, effleurage, petrissage, sapotement. You want to be comfortable with the different massage types and the founders of those types of massage. So you see Jaquette there. Let's go and pull up another one. I said the contraindications. Also the benefits, you want to be comfortable with those. So then the massage movements, so the different movements, effleurage, petrissage, deployment, friction, vibration. Want to be comfortable with all 5 of those, like understanding them and knowing what they're for. Alternative massage techniques, I would skim alternative massage techniques because it's acupressure, shiatsu, manual lift drainage, pressure point, and aromatherapy. I would just want to have a basic, I've read through it, I know what they are, and I could separate the two. What's another good one that you're going to want to know for massage? Body mechanics for you as a professional. And then the muscles from insertion to origin, that's going to go over applying pressure and in which way, so your movement itself. And I don't see the jacket. No, I don't see the jacket. So it's just that particular technique that they type of massage that they have listed now. I don't see any more. Oh, here they are. Key contributors. Be familiar with them. The only one I've ever seen pop up in an exam is the Dr. Lucien Jacket, as far as movement, type of like massage master information like that. So that's, I would have this list run down, but for sure I know they're going to ask about the jacket movements. I don't see anything else in massage that I would pinpoint. Let's go back here. Skincare products. So products, and then let's caveat that products, equipment. So what skin conditions does a Woods lamp reveal? So there's a Woods lamp chart in your skin analysis. I believe that has a chart for the Woods lamp. I would be comfortable with those. I would be comfortable with the benefits of the facial machine, but I would be comfortable with the benefits of all the machines and how they're operated. Benefits of the vacuum, high frequency and what it's used for, contraindications for electrotherapy. Electrotherapy as a definition, I'd want to be comfortable with that as well for this chapter. And then the only one we haven't opened, I believe, was facial devices and technology. So let's open facial devices and technology. Just to kind of skim it. Going to want to be familiar with the concept of electrotherapy and the definition, the hot towel cabbie and the definition, and the contraindications, the magnifying lamp definition, contraindications, Woods lamp. Remember it said, what are the skin conditions revealed for the Woods lamp? There you go. Thick corneum layer, horny layer of dead skin, normal skin, thin and dehydrated skin, acne or bacteria, oily areas, and comedones, hyperpigmentation or sun damage, hypopigmentation, or a lack of pigmentation, and those contraindications for the Woods lamp. Rotary brush, it's all listed right here in the exam. So first thing I would do is, obviously you want to know all of this from the chapter. That's the real answer, right? But in reality, if it's not on here in the subsection, it would be secondary on my list. So I would first make sure I was 100% comfortable with the brush machine, galvanic and all its functions, high frequency, steam, and the benefits of that, vacuum and Woods lamp, and then any of the other advanced topics and treatments, any of the other devices would be secondary to that list. With galvanic, you're going to want to understand the deincrustation process and ionic iontophoresis. So deincrustation process and ionic iontophoresis. What would be great is to also take all of like charts like this and put them into your notes. You have saponification. You're going to want to understand that word. It's the process of creating soap in the skin, which is just a lye that's created in the skin. So saponification, you want to understand that process. Ionization, cataphoresis, anaphoresis, and what ions are when it comes to galvanic. That's more than likely going to be on every exam. Polarity of solutions going to be on every exam. The high frequency, is that on our list? Yes, it is. Less about the electrodes themselves and more about the definition of thermolysis, the definition of high frequency, what the electrodes are for, direct, the difference between direct and indirect, and the difference in the argon and neon gas, and of course the contraindications and effects of the high frequency. You're going to need to know this anyway. If you want to be the best esthetician you can be, you need to know this anyway. For the sake of simply studying, I would just put those above the other ones. Sprayer is not here. So when studying for just state board, I wouldn't worry too much about sprayer. I would very much worry about the paraffin wax. It's a very short piece of information. Also, the mitts, the electronic mitts and boots. Short information. I'd be familiar with it just so that I know I had it. Any questions on the facial treatment section? 25 questions, 25% of your exam, 19 questions coming from chapters 8, 9, and 10. So chapter 8, facial treatments, chapter 9, massage and foundations, chapter 10, facial devices and technology.